Welcome to Business News. The Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, is fully in support of the federal government's policy of closing the nation's land borders. The president and chairman of council, Mr. Uche Olowu, who led other members on a courtesy call on President Muhammadu Buhari, says the move will boost the local economy and check the growth of small arms. The body equally wants the government to consider establishing an education bank.
As an institute, we are very, very much in support of the border closure. But clearly, the border closure is a clincher policy for us because one, it checks smuggling, support the local industry to grow because that is the way to grow, and then of course, infiltration of small arms that have been coming. If you look at the statistics, even in the petroleum sector, that policy has also tried to reduce the level of subsidy. We did present some of our requests, and that one is that we needed to also highlight the issue, the concerns about where there's been barrage of attacks on banks that are making huge profits. We needed to debunk that idea because when you compare apple to apple, in other climes, if you look at the profit level and that of Nigeria, you see that it's not that an alarming status that we've been having some complaints. So we needed to let him know. So we needed some more support in terms of making sure that those policies work to enable us, clear the financial inclusion.
The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies have agreed to deepen oil production cuts to 500,000 barrels a day through to March 2020. The new deal, which is the outcome of the group's two-day meeting in Vienna, is much larger than many analysts and will see OPEC Plus reduce total oil output by 1.7 million barrels per day. The Energy Alliance says it plans to review the policy at an extraordinary meeting on March the 5th and the 6th. Now, persistent profit taken by short-term investors has knocked off gains recorded from the CBN's recent Treasury bills policy-induced rally on the equities market, as sentiments turned sour within the first 5 sessions of the new month. Layo Adegoke has the stock market report.
Thanks a lot, Teniola, and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Losses from bellwether equities such as MTN Nigeria, Dangote Cement, and GT Bank led to a further 0.22% drop on NSE's main index as the stock market ends first trading week of December in the red. The downturn on the market, which comes amid a mixed sectoral performance, translates to about 28 billion naira decline in overall market value after investors sustained sell pressure. Profit-taking hit the share price of 11 equities, which were led by 7.53% price loss on University Press, while 15 equities led by 10% increase on Niger Insurance emerged as gainers for the day. Meanwhile, overall volume of shares traded for Friday was lower by about 10.23 million units against previous session at 197.03 million units in nearly 4,000 transactions, led by the shares of UACN, Access Bank, and UBA. Well, that's it on the Stock Market Report. I'm Layo Adegoke. It's back to you, Teniola.
Thanks, Lyle. Now, global markets have ended Friday's session higher on the back better than expected non-farm payrolls reports from the United States. Here are some of the closing figures for the day. That's it on Business News tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Teniola Shobowale. Back to you, Melinda.
Many thanks, Teniola. Some company news now. An indigenous fabrication firm, MG Valgas Limited, says it has concluded agreement with the research department of the Federal Ministry of Defense to start building made-in-Nigeria ballistic airboats. The Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the country made this known when the participants in an annual workshop organized by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board toured the company's fabrication yard in Port Harcourt, Rivers State.
These are participants of the just concluded 9th Practical Nigerian Content Workshop that focused on increasing opportunities given to indigenous companies to participate in the oil and gas sector. Having agreed that indigenous companies have the expertise and technical know-how to compete favorably with their international counterparts, they are here on a tour of the fabrication yard of MG Valgas.
I'm very proud that MG Valgas is one of the leading members of this committee, and frankly this is a major eye-opener to see such a huge facility with so much infrastructure ready to do all of the work that is necessary in our area of activity. So this is something that I commend to all the IOCs and in fact even the indigenous producers. Instead of giving work to companies from other countries, we should begin to patronize ourselves, and frankly what is here can definitely service all of them.
Clearly, the days of having more international companies and less indigenous ones participating in the oil and gas industry is fast coming to an end, as this massive investment by MG Valgas portrays.
We do pressure vessel, we do maintenance, repairs of pressure vessel, we do topside construction, models, skids, ships, barges, offshore installations, a whole lot of work. Engineering design, we are EPC company totally. We are a totally EPC company.
The CEO, MG Valgas, says his company has maintained the minimum of 98% of the Nigerian content in its workforce and commended the NCDMB for providing guidance for business opportunities for worthy Nigerians to build a robust economy.
We have identified very strong indigenous companies with the right competence and right skill, right atmosphere to work. As I'm talking to you now, we are in the final stage of formulating an MOU where all process equipment will be fabricated by him. We'll do the design together, fabricate by, and then we are building PNG, we are building on a 28 plot of land just next door.
Izomo announced that the firm is also working with Schneider Electric to build switchgears and e-house substations for power generation sector in the country, explaining that the firm will start the fabrication of a modular refinery, skids, and offshore loading facility by next year.
Still ahead on the news at 10, 4 alleged rapists in India meet their Waterloo. That and other stories on Around the World in 5. Plus, world heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz Jr. and challenger Anthony Joshua weigh in for their boxing clash in Saudi Arabia. That'll be on Sports News. Stay with us.